The morning was bright, but the excitement aboard the Aurora's reach was brighter. The ship had never been tested in real hyperspace before. For years, engineers, scientists, and pilots had worked tirelessly to make it perfect. It was not only the largest human-built exploration vessel in existence, but also the most advanced. Its sleek, silver body shimmered under the sunlight as it rested in the dock, engines humming with energy that promised speed faster than anything humanity had ever known. Captain Armin Kyle walked through the corridors of the ship, his boots making soft sounds against the polished metal floor. He looked at the crew moving with purpose, technicians checking instruments, scientists reviewing charts, and pilots preparing the navigation systems. Every person aboard was hand-picked for this mission. They were skilled, intelligent, and above all, calm under pressure. Humanity had always prided itself on facing challenges with courage and innovation, and this mission was no different. Armin paused for a moment, observing the immense observation window that stretched across the front of the control room. Outside, the stars seemed to dance as the ship was still on the planet's surface, but he knew that in hours, these stars would stretch into streaks of light when hyperspace took them. He allowed himself a small smile. Humans had dreamed of traveling faster than light for centuries, and now they were on the verge of making it a reality. The chief engineer, a tall woman named Selena Rowe, approached him, carrying a tablet with the latest diagnostic data. "Everything is ready, Captain. The engines are calibrated, the navigation systems are synced, and the hyperspace coordinates have been verified 3 times. Armin nodded. "Good. Any last concerns?" Selena shook her head. "Not really. I just hope our calculations hold up once we enter hyperspace. It's untested, remember?" "Uncharted territory," Armin agreed. "But humans have never been afraid of the unknown. That's what makes us explorers." His voice carried confidence, though a small knot of tension tightened in his chest. Hyperspace travel was still a risk. Even the smallest miscalculation could leave them stranded in a place where no one could reach them. Yet, he trusted his crew and their preparations. Meanwhile, in the lower decks, the scientists were preparing the experimental cargo that the ship carried. Among them was Dr. Lyra 10, an expert in quantum energy fields. She carefully secured containers filled with strange, glowing material. "These samples could change everything we know about energy," she whispered to her assistant, a young human named Kian. "If hyperspace reacts to them as expected, we might unlock a new way to travel or even manipulate matter itself." Kian's eyes widened. "That's incredible, but also dangerous, isn't it?" Dr. Ten smiled faintly. "Everything worth discovering carries some risk. That's why we test, observe, and adapt." As the final preparations continued, Captain Armin gathered the crew in the main control room. The room was wide and bright, with holographic displays projecting star maps, navigation paths, and live sensor readings. Everyone took their stations, some with a calm sense of routine, others with barely contained excitement. "Today," Armin began, "we take humanity's first real step into a faster-than-light voyage. We do not just travel through space, we explore the possibilities of what lies beyond. This ship, this crew, and every human watching from home will witness something extraordinary. Remember, no matter what we encounter, we rely on each other, our knowledge, and our courage." A soft hum grew into a louder vibration as the engines powered up. The Aurora's reach shivered slightly as energy coursed through its body. The hyperspace drive began to charge, the core glowing with brilliant white and blue light. The hum became a steady pulse, almost like the heartbeat of the ship itself. Selena monitored the readings carefully. "Core stable, energy flow at optimal levels, all systems green." "Good," Armin said. He took a deep breath. "Engage the hyperspace sequence in 5, 4, 3. The control room lights dimmed slightly as the ship seemed to stretch, the stars outside starting to blur. The crew held their breath. Then, with a sensation almost like being pulled gently through a tunnel, the stars elongated into bright streaks. The ship had entered hyperspace. It was unlike anything anyone had experienced before. Outside the observation windows, the stars stretched into long, shimmering lines, colors bending and twisting in ways that seemed impossible. The crew felt a slight pressure as the ship accelerated, faster and faster. There was no noise, but the hum of the engines was reassuring, like the song of a living being guiding them through a new world. "Hyperspace stable," Selena reported. "We're holding course. No anomalies detected." Armin nodded, though he kept his eyes on the readings. "Maintain vigilance. Hyperspace is not a place we can fully predict." Hours passed, though time felt strange in hyperspace. The stars twisted and shifted, sometimes glowing with colors no human eye had names for. The crew worked steadily, taking measurements, adjusting instruments, and observing their surroundings. It was beautiful, almost magical, but the scientists could not forget that they were pioneers in a realm humans had never visited before. Then the first sign of something unusual appeared. The aft sensors, monitoring the rear of the ship, started to show faint inconsistencies. A few numbers flickered on the display, disappearing almost as soon as they appeared. "Kian, check the aft sensors again," Dr. Ten instructed. "These readings don't make sense." Kian studied the holographic display, eyes narrowing. "The aft section, it's not matching the rest of the ship. Something is off." Selena joined them, frowning at the readings. "The energy flow is consistent, the drive is stable. Yet the aft hull shows unusual fluctuations. I can't explain it." Armin walked over, his expression serious. "Could it be a malfunction?" Selena shook her head. "Everything checks out. If this is a malfunction, it's not mechanical. It's something else. Something we haven't seen before." The crew felt a momentary tension, but none panicked. Humans had always faced the unknown with curiosity rather than fear. They began monitoring the aft section more closely, adjusting instruments, running tests, and logging every irregularity. Hours passed, and the anomaly persisted. The reading suggested that the ship might be experiencing a subtle split in hyperspace. The thought was difficult to comprehend. The front half of the ship was moving smoothly, guided by human control, but the rear section seemed to be lagging behind, almost as if it existed in another layer of reality. "This is incredible," Dr. Ten whispered. "If we can understand this, we might learn something new about hyperspace itself." Armin nodded slowly. "Agreed. But we need to proceed carefully. We cannot risk the ship or the crew without understanding what's happening." Despite the tension, the crew continued their work with methodical focus. Humans had always been known for their adaptability, their ability to observe, think, and solve problems under pressure. Each person aboard the Aurora's Reach contributed their expertise, whether in engineering, science, or piloting, combining knowledge in ways that no machine or alien program could replicate. As the ship sailed through hyperspace, more strange phenomena occurred. Lights in the control room flickered briefly, shadows appearing where none should have been. Instruments measured faint energy pulses, almost like the ship itself was responding to the crew's actions. Some crew members felt a strange connection with the ship, as if it was alive, learning from them, adapting. "Is it listening to us?" whispered one of the junior engineers, eyes wide. Armin gave a faint smile. "Perhaps. Humans have a way of making even the universe notice them." The crew continued to navigate, careful but determined. They tested the ship's systems repeatedly, verified calculations, and documented every anomaly. It was a delicate dance between human ingenuity and the mysteries of hyperspace, a challenge that no alien race had faced in the same way. As the hours stretched into a day, the crew began to feel the subtle shift of hyperspace around them. The aft sensors grew more erratic, yet the ship remained intact. The front section responded to every command, the engines hummed steadily, and the navigation systems maintained course. Humanity's ability to adapt, to combine intelligence with intuition, kept them safe even in a realm that defied logic. Captain Arman stood at the observation window again, staring into the stretched, glowing stars. He realized something profound. Humans were not just passengers in this strange new realm. They were explorers, problem solvers, and innovators. They could face the unknown and make sense of it, even when it bent reality itself. The ship hummed around him almost in response, as if acknowledging the human presence aboard. The anomaly in the aft section remained a mystery, but the crew's focus, creativity, and teamwork ensured that the mission continued safely. Humans had always faced the universe with courage, and now, in the vast unknown of hyperspace, that courage and intelligence were more important than ever. And so, the Aurora's reach continued its journey. The stars stretched endlessly, glowing with impossible colors, and the crew worked tirelessly, exploring, measuring, and learning. The first signs of a deeper mystery had appeared, but humanity's persistence and ingenuity would face it head-on. For in every challenge, humans found opportunity. In every unknown, they found wonder. And somewhere in hyperspace, the aft section of the ship flickered, waiting, as if it knew that this journey was only beginning. The crew of Aurora's Reach had settled into a cautious rhythm. The front half of the ship moved smoothly through hyperspace, yet the strange readings from the aft section never fully disappeared. Every instrument, every sensor, told a story that the human mind could only begin to understand. Captain Arman Kale paced the control room, eyes flicking between the star-filled observation window and the holographic displays showing the ship's readings. "Every time we check, the aft section is slightly different," Selena said, adjusting a holographic graph. "It's not a mechanical failure, it's something else. Something hyperspace created." Dr. Lyra 10 leaned over her console, her eyes scanning the glowing data streams. "It's as if hyperspace itself has split the ship. Half is where we are, the other half is somewhere else, obeying different rules. It's fascinating." Kian, the young assistant, frowned. "Different rules? Do you mean like another universe?" "Not exactly another universe," Lyra replied, "but a layer of reality that we don't fully understand. It's like a shadow of space, moving alongside our own." Captain Arman remained silent for a moment. Humans had always been able to face challenges that seemed impossible. They had built cities in deserts, flown machines into the sky, and explored planets no other species had touched. But now they were facing a phenomenon that even the most brilliant human mind had never seen. Yet, despite the unknown, the human instinct for curiosity and problem-solving drove them forward. "All right," Arman finally said, "we need to understand this, not just observe it. Every second in hyperspace is precious. Let's see if we can interact with the aft section without risking the rest of the ship." The crew nodded and began preparations. Remote probes were readied, small drones designed to leave the main ship and move toward the aft section. These drones carried sensors, cameras, and instruments that could transmit data back through the energy fields that seemed to connect the two halves. Selena worked on the navigation codes, ensuring that the drones could maintain stability in a space that bent and twisted around them. Dr. 10 approached Arman quietly. "Captain, I think we can do more than just observe. If we use the energy signature from the aft section, we might be able to communicate with it. Not words, not voices, but signals, patterns that the ship itself can understand." Arman nodded. "Do it, but carefully. I want results, not damage." Hours passed as the crew worked tirelessly. The main control room was quiet, save for the soft hum of the ship's engines and the occasional beep from a console. Keon carefully monitored the first drone as it moved toward the aft section. The display showed flickering images, strange energy patterns, and bursts of color that seemed to defy normal physics. "It's beautiful," Keon whispered, eyes wide. "I've never seen anything like this." "Focus on the data," Lyra reminded gently. "Beauty is secondary. Understanding is primary." The drone moved closer to the aft section, sending back live readings. The crew watched in amazement as the energy signature from the missing half of the ship seemed to respond to the drone. The patterns pulsed, shifted, and even matched some of the commands the crew tried sending. It was almost like the missing section was alive, or at least aware. "This is incredible," Selena said, her voice full of awe. "It's adapting to us. The ship itself is learning how to respond." Captain Armin leaned closer to the main console, studying the signals. Humans had always thrived on adaptability, on problem-solving in ways that no other species could. Now, their ingenuity was being tested against a force they could barely comprehend. Yet even here, in this strange corner of hyperspace, human determination remained steady. "Let's try a simple sequence," Armin said. "Send a basic energy pulse and see how it reacts." The crew followed his instructions. A soft pulse moved through the energy field toward the aft section. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the energy signature flickered, and the drone's cameras captured an astonishing sight. The faint outline of the ship's rear half, shimmering in and out of visibility as if it were a ghost in a different dimension. "It's there," Keon said, almost in disbelief. "It's really there." "Yes," Lyra said, her eyes shining. "And it's responding. I think it recognizes our signals." Over the next several hours, the crew carefully experimented with communication. They sent sequences of energy pulses, patterns that could be interpreted as simple commands. The aft section responded, sometimes immediately, sometimes with a slight delay, as if it were thinking. It moved slightly, adjusted its energy fields, and mirrored some of the signals from the front half. "This is beyond anything I imagined," Selena whispered. "The ship, it's cooperating with us." Armin allowed himself a small smile. Humans had always excelled in situations where others might panic. They observed, learned, and adapted. The aft section, guided by instinct and now by human ingenuity, seemed to mirror that very trait. As the crew continued their work, strange visual phenomena appeared around the ship. Light streaks twisted in impossible directions, forming shapes that resembled nothing from normal space. Shadows of energy drifted past the observation windows, interacting with the ship in subtle ways. Some crew members felt a strange sense of calm, almost as if the universe itself was acknowledging their presence. "This is," Keon started, but no words seemed sufficient. Lyra nodded. "It's a reminder that humans can face the unknown with creativity and courage. The universe doesn't just test us, it teaches us, and we are quick learners." Despite the wonder, there was also tension. The crew could not ignore the risks. If the aft section drifted too far into hyperspace, it could be lost forever. They carefully measured every movement, adjusted every sequence, and documented every reaction. Humanity's combination of intelligence and intuition became the bridge between the known and the unknown. Captain Armin reflected on the situation. Humans had explored deserts, oceans, mountains, and planets. They had solved problems that others had declared impossible. Here, in the vast unknown of hyperspace, they were doing the same thing, using ingenuity, observation, and courage to interact with forces that no other species had faced. As hours turned into another day, the crew began to notice subtle changes. The aft section's energy signature became more stable. It moved slightly closer, as if testing the connection, responding to the human signals with increasing accuracy. The crew's excitement grew, tempered by careful focus. They were achieving something extraordinary, something that no one outside of humanity's ranks had ever witnessed. Dr. Ten smiled at the readings. It's learning from us, not like a machine, not like an alien program, like a human. It's adapting, responding, and thinking in a way we can almost understand. Armin nodded. That's what makes humans special. We can take what seems impossible and make it real. We observe, we adapt, and we act. That is our strength. The crew spent long hours experimenting, refining their methods, and building trust with the missing half. Every pulse, every signal, every observation brought them closer. Even the young assistant Kian felt the thrill of discovery, the pride of knowing that humans were the first to bridge such an impossible divide. Outside the observation window, hyperspace continued to twist and shimmer. The stars bent into impossible shapes, light-forming waves and ribbons of color that moved around the ship. It was both beautiful and dangerous, a reminder that the universe was vast and humans were still learning how to navigate it. As night fell on the planet below, though they were light years away in hyperspace, the crew remained vigilant. They monitored the energy fields, sent pulses, and recorded every movement. Captain Armin stood quietly, looking at the faint outline of the aft section, shimmering in and out of reality. "This is just the beginning," he said softly. "Whatever happens next, we are ready. Humans have always faced the unknown, and we always will. Hyperspace is strange, yes, but we are stronger, smarter, and braver than any challenge it can throw at us." The ship hummed in response, almost like a heartbeat, steady and strong. The crew felt a sense of connection with it, a bond formed through courage, curiosity, and ingenuity. The aft section continued to flicker, responding to their signals, learning from them, and perhaps, in some small way, trusting them. For humans, the unknown was never a limit. It was an opportunity to discover, to learn, and to prove that even in the most mysterious corners of the universe, their intelligence and spirit could overcome any challenge. And so, the journey continued. The front half of Aurora's Reach sailed steadily through hyperspace, the aft section shimmering like a distant echo, and the crew worked tirelessly to understand, communicate, and bridge the impossible gap between them. Every pulse of energy, every careful signal, brought them closer to a reunion that seemed both miraculous and inevitable. The stars stretched endlessly around them, ribbons of color twisting in ways no human had ever imagined. Yet the humans aboard the ship did not falter. They observed, adapted, and acted, proving once more that their ingenuity and courage could meet even the strangest challenges the universe could create. And somewhere ahead, the faint outline of the aft section moved slightly, responding to the crew's efforts. It was an echo of possibility, a reminder that no matter how impossible a situation seemed, humans had the power to change it. The front half of Aurora's Reach moved steadily through the strange, glowing expanse of hyperspace. Outside, the stars stretched into brilliant streaks, bending in impossible ways, painting the universe with colors no human had names for. Inside, the crew worked tirelessly, studying the faint energy traces of the missing aft section. Every reading, every signal, hinted at a mystery that they could almost understand, but not fully. Captain Armin Kale stood at the observation window, his hands resting lightly on the rail. He watched the stars, but his mind was with the ship itself. Humans had always faced the unknown with courage and curiosity, and now that tradition was being tested in the most extraordinary way. The aft section existed in a strange dimension of hyperspace, responding to their signals, yet still distant. "Captain," Selena said, stepping up to his side, "the energy readings are stronger now. The aft section seems to be stabilizing. It's responding faster to our signals than before. Armin nodded. Good. That means our methods are working. Keep monitoring. Every pulse, every signal is a step closer to understanding. Lyra 10, the quantum energy scientist, leaned over her console. It's fascinating. The aft section seems almost intelligent, not alive, not like a human, but aware. It adapts, responds, and now it seems to anticipate our actions. Keon, the young assistant, frowned at the display. Anticipate? How can a ship anticipate us? Lyra smiled faintly. That's the wonder of this mission. Hyperspace doesn't follow our rules. Perhaps it's learning in ways we can't fully see yet. But humans excel in situations like this. We observe, adapt, and act. The ship is reflecting that back to us. For hours, the crew continued their careful experiments. They sent sequences of energy pulses, attempting to guide the aft section toward synchronization. The ship responded in subtle ways, shifts in energy, faint vibrations, and tiny adjustments in its position. Every small success brought excitement and hope. Humans had always thrived in the unknown, and their ingenuity was proving invaluable. Then something extraordinary happened. The aft section began to stabilize in a visible pattern, appearing faintly through the energy distortions as a shimmering outline. It was no longer just a ghost of the missing ship. It was becoming a tangible presence, hovering slightly behind them in hyperspace. The crew watched in awe as the two halves seemed to recognize each other, almost like two dancers learning to move in perfect harmony. "This is incredible," Keon whispered. "It's like it's alive, but not alive." "Yes," Lyra said softly. "It's responding to us in a way that feels human. Our adaptability, our observation, our intelligence, it's mirrored in the aft section. This is humanity's strength shining through, even in the heart of hyperspace." Captain Armin studied the readings carefully. "We must be cautious. Even though it seems to respond, we don't fully understand its behavior. Let's continue the tests, but with control. Step by step." The crew continued to send sequences of signals, refining their patterns and adjusting the energy pulses. The aft section responded with increasing accuracy. It moved slightly closer, its outline becoming clearer, the strange distortions lessening. The crew felt a growing sense of hope. Perhaps the ship could be reunited. As they worked, the environment of hyperspace continued to amaze. Light streaked and twisted in impossible directions, shadows of energy drifting past the observation windows. The crew felt a strange sense of calm, almost as if the universe itself acknowledged their efforts. Every pulse of energy, every careful adjustment, brought them closer to bridging the impossible gap between the front and rear halves of the ship. Captain Armin called a brief meeting with the senior crew. "We've made progress, but we're not done. The aft section is responding, yes, but it's still not fully synchronized. We need to understand why it was pulled into this strange dimension in the first place. Humans face the unknown every day, and we succeed because we learn quickly. We must do the same now." Selena nodded. "I've been analyzing the drive patterns and the hyperspace distortion. It seems that the aft section entered a resonance field caused by the energy cargo. That field pulled it slightly out of sync. It's not damage, it's a reaction to hyperspace itself." "That makes sense," Lyra said. "Hyperspace is alive with possibilities, and humans can interact with it in ways no other species can. We've already proven that by stabilizing the aft section. Now we need to bring it fully back." Keon looked at them both. "So, it's our intelligence that's helping it respond?" Armin smiled. "Exactly. Hyperspace doesn't respond to brute force or technology alone. It responds to creativity, to observation, to careful thinking. That's what humans bring. That's why we're special." For the next several hours, the crew worked with renewed focus. They tested sequences, refined energy pulses, and observed every subtle response from the aft section. Slowly, it moved closer, guided by the signals and the crew's ingenuity. It was a careful dance, a collaboration between human intelligence and the strange, almost conscious energy of hyperspace. Then, as they approached what felt like a breakthrough, something unexpected happened. The aft section emitted a sudden pulse of energy, stronger than anything before. The lights flickered, the ship vibrated, and the crew felt a sudden, almost physical connection with the missing half. The outline of the aft section became clearer, its position more stable. It was no longer a ghost. It was part of the same reality as the front half. "Captain!" Selena exclaimed. It's responding fully now!" Armin leaned forward, heart pounding. "Keep the signal steady. Maintain control. We're almost there." The crew synchronized their pulses with precision. The aft section moved gradually, aligning with the front half. The energy distortions diminished, and the ship's outline became whole once more. For a moment, the entire vessel seemed to shimmer as one, vibrating with a strange, unified rhythm. Humans had done what no one else could. They had bridged the impossible gap, using intelligence, observation, and courage. Lyra 10 let out a quiet laugh of relief. "It worked. We've brought it back." Kian grinned, eyes wide with wonder. "We did it! Humans did it!" Armin looked around at his crew, pride swelling in his chest. "Yes, humans did it. Not because of machines or luck, but because of our ability to think, to adapt, to face the unknown and find a solution. That's who we are." The ship hummed around them, steady and strong. The aft section was fully reunited, its energy flowing seamlessly with the front half. It was a moment of triumph, a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. But even as they celebrated, the crew knew that the mystery was not fully solved. The aft section had responded, but the question remained. Why had it been pulled into hyperspace in the first place? The energy cargo, the resonance field, and the strange intelligence of hyperspace had all played a role. Humans could understand the process, but the deeper forces of the universe remained a puzzle, waiting to be discovered. Captain Armin returned to the observation window, staring into the endless stretch of hyperspace. "We've done something extraordinary today," he said softly. "We've shown that humans can face the impossible, adapt, and succeed. But the universe is vast. This is only the beginning." Selena joined him, her eyes reflecting the shifting colors of hyperspace. "We've proven that our intelligence matters, that our ability to think, to learn, and to adapt can bridge even the most impossible divides." Lyra nodded. "And the aft section? It's a reminder that even in the unknown, humans can find solutions. It's learning from us, responding to us. Together, we've created something new, something neither human nor machine could have done alone." Kian leaned against the railing, still in awe. "I never imagined humans could do something like this. We really are special." Armin smiled, resting a hand on the young assistant's shoulder. "We are, and this is only the start. Hyperspace holds more mysteries, more challenges, and more opportunities. But as long as humans face them together, we can overcome anything." The crew returned to their stations, monitoring the ship, taking readings, and planning the next steps. The aft section remained stable, the energy fields calm, and the ship's hum steady. Humanity had faced the unknown and emerged stronger, proving that intelligence, adaptability, and courage were powerful tools in the vast, mysterious universe. As the hours passed, the crew felt a quiet sense of wonder. Hyperspace stretched endlessly around them, a realm of impossible beauty and unknown forces, but humans were not afraid. They had proven that their ingenuity and teamwork could bridge even the most mysterious divides. Captain Armin stood quietly, watching the stars twist and shimmer. The aft section had returned, but the universe still held questions, mysteries waiting to be solved. Humans had always thrived on challenges, on the unknown, and this mission was no different. The ship hummed, almost in response, vibrating with the shared effort and intelligence of its human crew. The aft section, once lost, was now a testament to their skill and determination. It moved seamlessly with the front half, a mirror of their ingenuity and courage. And somewhere ahead, deeper in hyperspace, more mysteries awaited. The crew of Aurora's Reach knew they were ready. Humans had faced the impossible, adapted, and succeeded. They would continue to do so, for that was their nature, to explore, to learn, and to triumph over the unknown. The journey was far from over, but for now, the ship was whole, and humanity's place in the vast expanse of hyperspace had been firmly proven once more. The front and aft sections of Aurora's Reach now moved together as one. The strange energy pulses had aligned, the shimmering distortions of hyperspace had faded, and the ship hummed steadily with a sense of quiet power. Captain Armin Kyle stood at the observation window, watching the stars stretch and twist outside, their colors vibrant and strange. Even after everything they had achieved, he felt a deep awe at the universe surrounding them. "Everything looks stable, Captain," Selena said, her voice calm but filled with relief. She had spent hours monitoring the energy flows and systems, making sure the aft section remained synchronized. "The ship is whole again? There are no anomalies left?" Armin nodded, though his mind was still racing with questions. "It's stable, yes. But why did it happen in the first place? Why did the aft section separate? And why did hyperspace respond to us the way it did?" Lyra 10 looked up from her console, eyes reflecting the flickering lights of hyperspace. "Hyperspace is not just space. It's energy, possibility, and patterns we don't fully understand. The aft section's separation was caused by the resonance of the energy cargo, but the way it responded, how it mirrored our intelligence and adaptiveness, that was something new. Humans think, observe, and adapt in ways no machine or alien program could. That ability influenced hyperspace itself." Kian, still young but eager and bright-eyed, leaned forward. "So, it reacted to us? Like we were teaching it?" "Yes," Armin said. "In a way we were. Humans are not just passengers in the universe. We shape it, even when we don't realize it. Our curiosity, our intelligence, our courage, it all matters. That's why the aft section responded. That's why it returned." The crew continued monitoring the ship, performing detailed scans to ensure that every system was fully operational. The aft section's energy signature was stable, fully integrated with the front half, and even seemed to possess a subtle, almost imperceptible intelligence. The ship responded to commands smoothly, sometimes anticipating the crew's needs, adjusting energy flows and optimizing systems without direct instruction. "It's learning from us," Lyra said quietly. "Not consciously, not like a person, but it's adapting. It's reflecting our problem-solving, our creativity." Armin smiled faintly. "That's humanity. We learn, we adapt, we overcome, and the universe notices." The ship continued its journey through hyperspace, and for the first time the crew felt a sense of calm. They had faced the unknown, adapted, and succeeded. Yet, despite their success, questions lingered. The aft section had returned, but its experience in hyperspace was still a mystery. The crew wondered what it had encountered, what it had learned, and what it might reveal in the future. Selena tapped a few controls, bringing up a live display of the aft section's energy flows. "There's something remarkable here," she said. "The aft section is maintaining stability without constant adjustment. It seems self-correcting, almost like it remembers the patterns we used to bring it back." Lyra nodded. "That's incredible. It's a feedback loop. Our human intelligence influencing the ship, and the ship responding in turn. The universe is giving us a gift, a chance to see our ingenuity reflected in something greater than ourselves. Kian's voice was soft but filled with wonder. It's like the ship learned from us, like we taught it how to survive. Yes, Armin said. Humans have always taught, adapted, and survived. This is just a new example of what we can do. And the ship isn't just a tool anymore. It's part of the journey, part of our experience, and part of the story we create as explorers. As the hours passed, the crew conducted experiments to better understand the aft section's new behavior. They tested navigation commands, energy adjustments, and even minor system changes. Every action was met with a seamless response, the ship moving as if it were one living organism, perfectly synchronized with the humans who guided it. "This is unlike anything we've ever seen," Selena said. "It's more than a ship. It's a reflection of human ingenuity, our ability to adapt and solve problems, and perhaps even a kind of partnership with the universe itself." Captain Arman allowed himself a moment of pride. Humans had always been defined by their resilience and creativity. They had built cities on barren planets, flown into the skies, and explored the deepest oceans. Now, in the heart of hyperspace, they had faced the unknown and succeeded in a way that no one else could. The aft section's return was not just a technical achievement, it was proof of humanity's unique place in the universe. The crew settled into a calm routine, taking measurements, observing the surroundings, and preparing reports. Outside, hyperspace continued to stretch endlessly, a realm of colors, energy, and possibilities beyond imagination. The ship moved steadily, every system functioning perfectly, every crew member filled with a quiet sense of accomplishment. Yet even as they worked, Captain Armin could not shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. The aft section had returned, but hyperspace was vast, mysterious, and unpredictable. The universe held challenges, discoveries, and opportunities that humans had yet to face. And as always, it would be human ingenuity, courage, and collaboration that would turn the impossible into the possible. Hours later, a soft alert chimed in the control room. The ship's sensors had detected a faint signal, originating from the same region of hyperspace where the aft section had briefly existed. The crew gathered around the display, studying the readings. The signal was strange, not a message, not a pattern they had seen before, but it pulsed with energy, almost like a heartbeat. "It's alive," Kian whispered. "Or at least it feels alive." Lyra nodded, studying the energy. "It's not alive in the way we are, but it is responsive, and it recognizes the ship. Perhaps hyperspace itself is acknowledging us, reflecting our ingenuity back." Captain Armin studied the data carefully. "Whatever it is, it's not hostile. It's observing, learning, or communicating, and humans have always known how to respond to the unknown, with curiosity, intelligence, and courage." The crew spent hours analyzing the signal, sending careful sequences of energy pulses to interact with it. The response was subtle, but consistent, the energy pulsing in patterns that mirrored their own. The aft section hummed in harmony with the signal, as if joining in a conversation between humans and the universe itself. "This is incredible," Selena said softly. "We're not just exploring hyperspace. We're interacting with it. It's responding to human intelligence." Lyra smiled. Humans have always shaped the world around them, in ways small and large. And now, in hyperspace, we see the same principle at work. Our curiosity, creativity, and problem-solving are reflected back by the universe itself. Captain Armin felt a deep sense of awe. Humanity had faced the unknown, adapted, and triumphed. They had restored the ship, synchronized its halves, and even discovered that the universe itself could respond to their intelligence. It was a triumph of courage, ingenuity, and collaboration, the very qualities that had defined humans for centuries. As they continued their journey, the crew began to feel a quiet, almost spiritual connection with the ship and the vast expanse of hyperspace. The aft section, once lost, now moved in perfect harmony, its subtle intelligence a reflection of the humans who guided it. The signal from hyperspace pulsed gently, like a reminder that exploration, understanding, and learning were never-ending processes. Hours turned into days, yet the crew remained vigilant and inspired. They documented every reading, every observation, and every subtle interaction between the ship and hyperspace. Their work was careful, precise, and filled with wonder. Humans had always thrived in the face of challenges, and this mission was the ultimate demonstration of their abilities. Captain Armin stood at the observation window once more, watching the stretched stars twist and dance in brilliant colors. He reflected on everything the crew had achieved. Humans had faced the unknown, solved problems that seemed impossible, and learned from the universe itself. They had reunited the ship, stabilized it, and even discovered that hyperspace could respond to their intelligence. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "There is so much more to learn, so much more to explore." But humans are ready. We always have been. The aft section hummed quietly, its subtle intelligence in harmony with the front half. The ship moved through hyperspace with grace, stability, and a quiet power that reflected the combined effort of humans and the strange, responsive universe around them. Lyra 10 studied the readings and smiled. "We've proven something remarkable. Hyperspace reacts to us, to our intelligence and ingenuity. The universe is not just a backdrop, it's part of the adventure. And humans are central to that adventure." Keon's eyes shone with excitement. "We did it. We really did it. Humans really can face the unknown and succeed." Armand placed a hand on the young assistant's shoulder. "Yes, Keon, that's who we are. We explore, we adapt, we solve problems, and we never give up. That's why the universe recognizes us, why it responds to us, and why we will continue to thrive no matter the challenge." The crew returned to their stations, working with a calm sense of purpose. The ship was whole, hyperspace was stable, and the universe stretched endlessly before them, filled with possibilities, mysteries, and challenges yet to come. Humans had proven their place, not just as passengers in the universe, but as active participants capable of shaping their own destiny. As the Aurora's Reach sailed forward, Captain Armin looked at the shimmering stars. The ship hummed in harmony, the aft section's subtle intelligence reflecting the ingenuity and courage of its human crew. Hyperspace pulsed around them, full of unknowns, but humans were ready. They had faced the impossible, adapted, and succeeded. And in the vast, endless expanse of the universe, humans would continue to explore, learn, and thrive.